I'm Councilmember Jose Huizar. Are we on?
Yes, sir.
Are we on, sir?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Councilmember Jose Huizar. This is Public Works Committee. I do believe we're expecting one other member. We'll start the meeting, and then we'll move forward for that. I think we have a number of vacations of streets, so let's do this. Item number 2, 3, 4, we'll put on consent.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, unless we have any, staff have any amendments we need to make to those? Everything good? Nobody? How do they say it at a wedding? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Okay. So 2, 3, 4, consent, and it'll be a report of the chair if we do not get someone here in time for the full committee. Item number 5, we'll take that item up now. What item is that?
Item number 5 is a motion by Councilmember Corretz and Reyes waiving any dedication or improvement requirements relative to the construction of a car wash at 307 North La Brea Avenue and to expedite the final processing for the new car wash construction.
Okay, thank you very much. I call it special only because I saw this motion on here, and I don't know what this is, so.
There's a substitute motion, I believe.
This is a substitute motion here? Okay. And staff have any concerns, comments? We're good? All right. We'll move that item as well. Item number 5. Next item.
Item number 6 is a motion by Councilmember Labancha and Huizar relative to the temporary closure of Ledgewood Drive at the intersection of Mulholland Highway for public safety reasons.
Okay, we have a public speaker, Farrell Bernard. You want to come up to the desk there, and you have 2 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. I live at 6150 Mulholland. My front door is 40 feet from the proposed gate. Myself and Fred, my immediate neighbor, 6158 Mulholland, and also Kay, who lives across the street, we all oppose the gate. We don't want this turned into a Deronda / Hollywood, Mulholland and Deronda circus over there. Our proposal is to put the chain back that was once at the end of Mulholland at the last house, that A-frame house. There was a chain across there for years. I've been in my house 13 years. Kay has been in hers for 20. There have never ever been any issues until that chain came down a couple of years ago. So we want that to be the effort to put the chain back up, try that first. We don't want the home value of our homes to go down, and we don't want a circus in front of our house with all of the cars. And that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, to understand your point, you're saying that you'd rather see the chain go back up and that the gate will...
I don't want the gate.
Okay.
We're opposed to the gate.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Do we have staff here? Could explain this? And
Good afternoon, Edmund Yu from Public Works Engineering. The Bureau of Engineering, based on this motion, is going to send out referrals to all the adjoining properties owners and for their comments. So this is, the engineering will, based on this, will start the process and eventually will generate a recommendation to the City Council on this issue later on.
so it's not final? It's
No, not at
starting
this
the
time. This is
process.
just the beginning.
And there'll be time for input from the community to give their input.
Exactly,
Such as
yeah.
the gentleman did now. Okay. Can you make sure you relay that information to the public speaker right now?
Sure.
And let him know, keep him informed, keep his name and number and all that good stuff in your database so he gets notice of all those meetings? Okay.
We'll do that.
Thank you very much. We'll move that item forward. It's the beginning of a process that will allow for more public input. So I'll move this item. Next item.
Item number 1 is a verbal report by the Chief Legislative Analyst and Bureau of Street Services relative to an update on the status of funding for street medians maintenance.
Thank you. It was good timing by a Public Works Commissioner who just walked in. And is staff here as well? CLA, CAO? Anybody else? Bureaus? Thank you and welcome.
Good afternoon. I will defer to CLA's office first.
Good afternoon. Ivana Salvaro with the Legislative Analyst Office. Relative to the status report on the medians before you today, our office is currently preparing a report based on the Budget and Finance Committee report that was approved on the 14th of September, and there was various requests and actions for our office and for various departments to report back on the medians. Just to keep you up to date on the funding piece for the medians, specifically $300,000 to assist in the funding gap. We have identified $300,000 that can be used to fund this process that are specifically UDAG funds, which do not have any of the CDBG regulations attached to it and can be used citywide. So this will release the CDBGR funds, and we can use the UDAG funds for this process.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
Yeah. Good afternoon. Andrea Alarcon, Commissioner and Vice President of the Board of Public Works. This morning, the Board of Public Works convened and took 2 action items relative to the median island maintenance. First of which was the approval of a report pursuant to your motion on behalf of Street Services that will be forwarded to Public Works Committee as well as full council, recommending some very objective alternatives in mediating the funding gap. The second action was to exercise the options for the 3 existing contracts for median island maintenance for a term of 1 year.
Okay, great, thank you. You're in agreement?
Yes, Nazario Saucedo, Assistant Director, Bureau of Street Services. Yes, as a Bureau, we plan to put together a report for full council to let you know about the impacts. I mean, even with the identification of this funding, still there may be an impact on the level of service. So we will provide that information to full council as soon as possible.
Yeah, and just to be clear, this is, the amendments include $150,000 of median island maintenance because the original $300,000 that was reprogrammed from CDBGR money, only $150,000 of which was eligible for median island maintenance. The Bureau of Engineering did some mapping and and citywide mapping and identified that only $150,000 of that money can be utilized. So the $300,000 that the CLA's office is referencing in terms of UDAG money is new. So once that money is officially transferred, then we will then increase the median island maintenance services to account for the additional $150,000.
Just for clarification, I think we just want to clarify. This is the original $300,000. In other words, this is the original amount that we had identified. It's because we went back and looked at the CDBGR and HUD regulations, we were able to swap the entire $300,000 CDBGR for the UDAG money. That way the department wouldn't have any issues with eligibility with HUD and can be used citywide. So it's not on top of what the other 150, it's the total amount. We are still, the CLA is committed to still look into identifying an additional 150.
Okay.
So once that swap is effective, then we will increase the scope of services accordingly.
For how long would the service be available for that amount of money?
Till the end of the fiscal year.
End of the fiscal year, June. Okay. And what are the next steps? Report to Public Works Committee and full council, or is it going straight to full council?
The request was that the report from that original Budget and Finance Committee request was that we report directly to council.
Okay. That's good. Well, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to a solution. I've actually invested some of my discretionary funding in my district to continue the maintenance of the medians. We received a lot of calls, and it's one of those basic things that a community, if it's not well maintained and it's something that everyone sees, it's going to really put a downer on a lot of folks. So this is something that's very important. I want to thank you all for your work. I'm looking forward to at least finalizing this for this year, and I know my staff mentioned to me that there's going to be a request that the mayor's office put this in next year's budget, so we won't have to go through this again.
Yes.
I thought, as many of you did, that the inequity that was created by some council offices not having maintenance while others did, just simply because we had less money, that's not the way to go about it. I think we should all share in that burden and not leave some council offices just not having any money to do.
And to be clear, the options, the contractual options that were exercised this morning actually reapportion those funds equitably amongst all the council districts. So the funding gap applies to all 15 council districts.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. Any other item?
That's it, sir.
Okay, thank you very, very much. Welcome back. That concludes this meeting. So all these items to council that we approved will be a report from the chair, correct?